like so much money, surprisingly. But there is the question, and it was raised by Senator Wade Mark and Paul Richards in a newspaper in Parliament earlier this week over the amalgamated, according to them, deepening footprint in national security. And this is opening the discussion today for Lima. Let's, for us to discuss this whole issue of amalgamated being awarded yet another national security contract here in Trinidad and Tobago for something that I'm reading they did not even bring to the table. They actually acted as the broker on behalf the Ministry of National Security. What are your thoughts on this whole issue with them and the provision of the monitoring bracelets?
I don't understand since when did Amalgamated become the go-to company for national security advice. So wasn't there a discussion with the commissioner of police or prisons to decide any kind of thing? Where's the tenders contract for other companies? How come Hella Security or Fortress or Innovative, whoever, all the fly-by-night securities are popping up all over the place? How come they didn't get an opportunity? Why is it keep going to the 1%, you know, companies? And let's be real, that is 1%. Why?
Well, I'm trying to understand what is it about amalgamated, because when you first heard about the contract, just like you say, why the 1%, and it really baffles me when I see regular average Trinbagonians argue against this 1% point. I saw somebody put a post the other day, you all have so much issues with the 1%, people who work hard and make it to where they are, and I'm like, bro, this guy understand how 1%ers in this country make their money. This guy understand that we have businesses that were termed
He's
illegitimate but
probably an
have financial.
amalgamated security guard and he probably makes, $5 extra from overtime or whatever it is for it. Because you see them patrolling with WASA, TNTech and TSTT. So they in their hands all over the state companies as well. Come on, how much more things could they want? That is greed.
But exactly, how many more things could they want is one question. But then my other question is, why does the minister and the Ministry of National Security seem to be so fixated on amalgamated? They were one of the four security companies that was listed to do the private patrols. Like you say, they're doing the patrols with TSCT. They had and still have because it's not up yet. I just think we're not renewing it. The prisoner transport contract. Now they're doing ankle monitoring. And my first question was, what? I never knew that a company that provides transportation for prisoners was also involved in providing national security measures for prisoners. And of course, when you did the investigation, when you look into the matter, you found out that they don't even have these services. They contracted a company out of Israel to provide this. So is there
Mm-hmm.
nobody in the ministry, in the government right now, through cabinet, through the tenders board, that could have gone directly to these companies? Why is it that you needed a broker to get this deal? And
But the
why
thing
is it
is,
that you need.
somebody showed you what ankle monitor could have been bought for on Amazon. So couldn't we just have, put out a tender, say we want this, and verify how much exactly you need for that? Why do we have to go to amalgamated? So a national security expert could not have done this. It has to be security companies. So a police officer, not a police officer, but let's say somebody who has a business in this field could not have had an opportunity to tender for this contract.
See, as you said, police officer there, seeing as the police service is the one that, because Amalgamated is not going to be involved if the prisoner or the person out on bail, sorry, happens to break the parameters or step outside the parameters that the ankle monitor and bracelet is supposed to
Yeah, but what are the
monitor.
terms and conditions of the use of this monitor in Trinidad? It's so small, what? You can't leave San Fernando to go Port of Spain? You
That's
can't go
a real
Arima
good question. Can you
to
go to
Toco? What?
Togo?
I don't understand. What is the parameter for this thing? How you
Well, I
gonna
was
judge
going on to
that?
say that
Yeah, you're not allowed to leave your constituency, but the magistrate court, yeah, constituency. How you gonna what? You had to go and check in with your probation officer or whatever the case is. But you live Arima, the probation officer, you got caught in doing the foolishness which was in, let's say, Port of Spain or whatever, which is out of your jurisdiction. So what, you're setting off the alarm, heading to visit this man to show him that you're doing the correct thing, but you're breaking the signal? I don't understand. They're not clear on it, and as usual, little bits and pieces of information all over the place. But this should be conflict of interest because I mean, amalgamated clearly with the prime minister and national security minister like this, ring on finger. So why they still getting the opportunities to do all these different things? You ain't getting nobody. If I want to open my security company tomorrow and do this, well, I getting blocked because what? I don't have Aboud as a last name. Let me find out how Faris changed your name so I could go and, I don't know, start organizing some other last name. Because clearly I have the wrong last name. We all had the wrong last name. Everybody in Trinidad
99% of Trinidad
filed
and
for that.
Tobago have the wrong last name as it pertains to getting contracts like this. I was gonna ask, why is it because you just raised it, why only amalgamated? And the question is being asked because why, if the TTPS are the ones that going to be apprehending and catching the prisoners or the people out on bail, sorry, if they break the parameters, why wasn't the
You know
contract
what's a
given
good
to the
question we need to
TTPS?
find out now too? Where does the police service, prison service, all of these people get their guns and their weapons from, their ammunition? What, from amalgamated too?
Maybe we should do we should do an inquiry into that. What do you call it? FOIA, Freedom of Information. Actually, no, we
Yeah.
can't because Satish put out some information the other day that reminded us that you can't do an FOIA into national security, which is why, as one
Oh,
of the
that's why they
biggest budgets,
abusing their power and doing whatever the hell they want in that. Oh, okay. I
yeah, so
see.
which is why as one of the biggest contracts in the budget annually, I think $9 billion. It's probably the most lucrative place to pelt out contracts like candy to your friends and your family and the people who help you to get into office. And there's no way, I don't want to say there's no way, but they make it extremely difficult for you to do an investigation to find out just where the money going, who and what it is being spent on. Because you just raised that question, where does the TTPS get its guns from? I would like to think that we are
They would have a
finding the
stores
best value for
department.
money. They
They
would
would
have
have
a
a
what?
stores department where they would buy stuff that they would regularly need and a financial section that would allocate money to whatever the case is. So they would have to put out tenders for contracts over a certain amount. Hopefully.
Hopefully, and
But
I
go
say
on in the
hopefully because
place.
how are we supposed to know how are we supposed to know if you can't look into national security? And this we would have only known about this because it was debated in Parliament. Look at what happened with the private security. We were just told one morning
Yeah.
that four companies are going to be patrolling. Amalgamated is one. Expect it to happen, and then the next day you were told that they started since the day before.
Mm-hmm.
In a case like this, and not only did they start a day before, but they were paid for the 2 days that they
Yeah.
did the patrols. And I'm saying they were
I would
paid
love to know
because
how much
today,
because it's $87,000 per patrol. So imagine how much patrols they would have put in supposedly on paper.
when I saw that $87,000, I thought it was $87,000 at the end of the month, you know. I did not want to believe that it was per patrol. As in per, you're saying per vehicle patrolling a neighborhood. Every time they did that, whether it was 5 minutes or 5 hours, it was $87,000.
And watch how serious this could have been, right? So a patrol in Belmont, Gonzales, Cascade, St. Anne, St. Clair. For, like, just say that's for Amalgamated alone. Then you have Innovative doing 5 in one constituent at a different time. Look how much money that is already.
I believe the figure was over $400,000 that we had to pay just within the 2 days that they were doing the patrols. 480, if I'm not mistaken. I know the figure was around 400, which again I didn't understand. I'm assuming that each one of the security companies did at least one patrol or something like that. But that we were even going ahead with that contract was madness. That we even initiated it was madness. That the fact that we were going ahead with it was just insanity. Worse than madness, it
That
was
is a
insanity
slap
because
in the face of the police service because what you're saying basically is they're incapable of doing their job. And if you gave them the tools and all the equipment that they need, the training, everything that they need, they would not be in the position they're in. If you investigated rogue police, rogue senators, rogue ministers, army, customs, coast guard, everybody, you wouldn't have this problem. And if coast guard was doing the friggin' job long time ago, TTPS job wouldn't be so damn hard. Because coast guard's supposed to stop what coming in the country, so TTPS could only work with figuring out what is only on the ground.